Did a lady from the Rankin County?
Linda,
She
was
there.
She was at the meeting.
She was at the board meeting, but yeah. Did she go?
Probably had a crisis in Pelahatchie.
May have.
She's on that one, isn't she?
She was on it.
If y'all ready, we're ready.
All right. Let's rock and roll.
Be on time here. This is Mrs. Hall. She's the president of the board of directors of the Pearl River Valley Water Supply District. We'll make a couple opening comments.
Thank y'all for being here today. I am Jennifer Hall, the president of the board of directors of the PRV, and we are very happy to be making an announcement today that we will be starting phase 1 of opening this ramp. First I want to applaud the task force that has worked on this now for 6 months. And we have had our specialists with wildlife and fisheries have been working with us along with our staff monitoring the Salvinia grass issue, and so we feel like we are to the point now that we can open this ramp. I'm going to recognize John Sigmund and also Bobby Cleveland for the details. We will have certain measures that the public will have to follow in using this bay, but I will turn it over to John Sigmund and let him give you those details.
As you know, the Pelahatchie Bay has been closed to boating and fishing since October because of the infestation of giant salvinia, a very aggressive aquatic weed that came to us from Brazil. We are taking measures to control that, to combat it, and we have isolated the plant. It's now in the dry, so we anticipate that with the herbicides and the drying conditions, we'll be able to eradicate the giant salvinia. It's a very aggressive plant. It could take over this body of water in a matter of 3 or 4 months. It doubles its body weight every 2 days. What the board adopted this morning was a limited opening beginning on May the 14th. This ramp will be open from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Boaters that come in will have to have their boat inspected before they go in and when they leave, and it's going to be inspected for hitchhiking plant material so that we don't get any more plant material in here and we don't send plant material to our neighboring lakes. We'll have staff here, we'll have police officers here, we'll have patrol boats, and at that time boaters will be allowed on the lake. Now if you're a resident and have a boathouse or a pier, you can bypass this station, you can boat on the lake for the portions of the lake that are open, and then you can go back to your home and you do not have to go through the cleaning station. We've got maps that we've distributed that show the areas that are closed. It's primarily the North Shore of Pelahatchie Bay behind me here where the infestation occurs. We will have patrol boats on duty 24/7 to help make sure that people understand where those limits are. The 2 subdivisions on the north side here, Windward Oaks and North Shore Village, will have passes that are marked now where they can boat from their houses onto the lake. If you're going to house your boat on the lake in your pier, then the 6 to 6 restriction does not apply. In fact, you can fish all night if you want to, but you just can't come out on the ramp. All of the ramps are closed, and we've got to inform the public of these conditions, and we need to make sure that the public understands and will comply with these conditions in order to have a successful opening. As time goes on, the task force will monitor and will inform our board of directors of any changes recommended or any updates that can be made. Hopefully, as time goes on, we can relax those conditions and get back to more of a normal type of operation for the lake. That will occur every month. Our board of directors will take up recommendations from the task force. Bobby Cleveland, our liaison officer, may have some additional comments.
I think 2 other factors that we need to discuss are, one, the bridge will stay closed leading from the main lake to Pelahatchie Bay. Our biggest concern is that it escapes the bay and gets into the big lake. We have spent a lot of money, a lot of time, and put people through a lot of limitations in the bay, and I'd hate for that to transfer to the big lake or even upriver because it could be catastrophic. Also, the experts that worked with us recommended that we had basically had 2 or 3 choices. One was regarding the lake level, and we're keeping it down at 296.1, about where it is right now, 296.1. They said at 296.1 they felt like we could allow boating in a restricted area, in a limited area. They said if we wanted to bring it back up to our normal summer pool, which was 297, that would put water where the plant exists, where it existed in its original range. And in doing that, they didn't feel confident about boating. So it was basically keep it at 296 and allow a little boating, or raise it up to 297 and don't allow boating. But the key operative thing is that at 296.1, we are doing what we need to do to further control and eradicate the plant. None of it is in the water. It's all on dry ground right now. It can't free float. The boats can't get to it. Plus it's drying and dying. And we continue spraying, we continue monitoring, and as Mr. Sigmund said, as we go through this phase of opening the lake and we get the public participate, and that's really key, is that they buy into the fact that they need to help us keep this plant in control and not spread it to other lakes and not spread it to other parts of our lake, plus not bring any more vegetation into our lake. It's those days of just being able to go fishing and not worry about the environment are done. When you get off the water now, it's imperative that everybody participates in clean, drain, and dry their boats and not further spread the plant.
With that, what questions do you have?
Mr. Sigmund, I would imagine you guys feel pretty confident, given the fact that you're making this partial reopening at later this month.
We feel like we've got a good handle on the control of this plant. We've made great progress, and I want to thank all of the boaters and fishermen who have complied with what we've asked them to do. However, the plant is not gone, so we're going to open the bay in a limited fashion and monitor how the progress is from here on out.
How proud are you that we're just at this point? I know it's been a process just to get here.
We think we've had really good success. We think that, again, the boaters and skiers and fishermen have helped by complying with what we've done. It is a very dangerous plant. You can see behind me that there appears to be nothing, but it is a plant that can take over this body of water in a matter of months, and as it has done on lakes in Texas and Louisiana.
What is the effect going to be on your budget?
We have spent a lot of money on this.
Do you have any idea how much?
We spent to date about $150,000. If it gets into the big lake, that's just, it's going to multiply drastically, so we don't want it to get in the big lake. But it has had an effect on our budget.
How much are the new measures going to cost?
At this point, it's a matter of how much staff overtime I have. We've got a limit on our overtime, but we are going to comply. We're going to apply all the staff that we need to, and at some point we hope, we pray that the public will pick up the measures and will self-enforce. However, if we see that's not happening, then we will come back to the board and ask for different controls.
Do you have an estimate on how much it will cost?
No.
How many other ramps on the bay boat ramps will remain closed?
All boat ramps on the bay will remain closed. There's about 7 of them. We have boat ramps everywhere, as you might imagine. The boat ramps on the main lake are open. Everything's still on the go with the main lake.
Is there a penalty if you don't wash your boat?
Yes, if you don't comply with these, it comes under one of our regulations. It's termed a misdemeanor with a fine not to exceed $100. All fines are levied by the Justice Court. We do not levy the fines.
But we are going to have personnel here from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. at this ramp. And as you come in, when you're bringing your boat in, it will be checked. If it's got any kind of vegetation on it, you'll have to go to the cleaning station, clean it before you put it in the water. And then every boat coming out will also. So I just ask the public to work with us. It's going to be timely. And I recognize fishermen like to get in the water as quickly as they can. But it is going to be, we may have to have some time. There may be a line. But we are doing this so that people can get into the bay. People that live on the bay can enjoy the bay again. But we have to have, there's going to be some time constraints here, and everyone's going to have to be patient, and we're going to have to learn together as we go through this process.
So this is a work in progress. So just explain, what the ultimate hope is and the ultimate goal is from here.
Our ultimate goal is to completely eradicate the giant salvinia. Realistically, we don't know if we'll get to that, but we are going to control it. We will make sure it doesn't spread to other parts of the lake.
And we do hope to open other ramps. But at this time, this is the only ramp that will be open. And as you were told, the task force will be continuously monitoring this every 2 weeks. Every month they will bring a report to the board of directors, and every month we will discuss what stage we're at. But right now, and also to see how this is working. It will be reported back, you know, how the public is complying with having staff out here and doing our boat inspections.
Anything else you want to add?
I would point out that when we were speaking about the legal issue and what the fine is under our regulations for Pelahatchie Bay as far as boating or going outside where you're allowed to boat, that is a misdemeanor, but there is a state law that regards vegetation that has much stiffer penalties and much stiffer fines. If you are caught introducing or causing to introduce invasive non-native species of plant or wildlife into any public waters of the state of Mississippi, it's punishable by a fine of no less than $2,000, no more than $5,000. I can't remember exactly what the time in jail that you could face for that, plus you lose your fishing and hunting license and trapping license for a minimum of 12 months from date of prosecution.
Who can enforce that though? Can y'all enforce that, or would it have to be the state?
That is a state law now, but
I mean, agents on the scene though.
yeah, but we can enforce it here.
Okay.
If we see you introducing it. Now, the state law doesn't come into play if you take the boat out of the water and the plant's on it. That's, if you're driving down the highway, we can't stop you and say you got plant on your boat. But if you go to a lake and they see you introduce it off of your boat, immediate.
It's smarter to just make sure you're complying and cleaning.
There's a lot of states that have stiffer penalties that involve a lot of the northern states around the Great Lakes that deal with like zebra mussels and so forth, that they have a lot stiffer. It's mandatory that you check, and they can stop you on the highway and check you. But here it's we have the regulations that we have, and we intend to enforce them. We hope people will comply. We hope people will buy into our program, not because it's the legal thing to do, but because it's the right thing to do as being stewards of the lake and the land that the resources that we are so fortunate to have in Mississippi.
And there will be boomed areas. I mean, we are opening the bay, but there will be areas that are still blocked off where there is some evidence of the grass. So that's why you can't go beyond the boomed area. And some of those boomed areas, unfortunately, are some great fishing holes. But right now, if that area is boomed off, then no watercraft. And it's real important to understand it's all watercraft. That's kayaks, boards, whatever. If it's a watercraft, then it cannot go beyond the boomed area.
Thank you so much.
What about gator season, or have we thought that far yet?
Gator hunting has never been allowed legally in Pelahatchie Bay, so that's not a concern.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you.
Thank y'all for being here. You might want to get some shots of the cleaning station.